Welcome back to another video, or welcome if you're new to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a days in the life. Not a day in the life, we're going to be doing a few days. So my week basically, but it's not actually a week in the life because I'm missing a few days in the week. So it's going to be called days in the life. Now on Tuesday, because of Monday being bank holiday, this was the first day at school of the week. So I woke up at about 4:30 a.m. to pray Fajr firstly, and then I went back to sleep. You might see a theme come up with this entire video of like self-improvement, because that's something I've been doing a lot recently after watching like a few videos of like self-improvement and like motivation and all that stuff. I had that like, you know, that 3 a.m. burst of like sudden energy that you want to get all this stuff done and then it just disappears. I've had that, but for the first time it's like being prolonged. I still have that motivation. It's been going on for quite some time now, so I've been like very motivated, especially in the past couple of days, to get a lot of things done and really improve my life. So you're going to see that theme occurring a lot throughout this entire video in all parts of my day, and it's something that I'm really trying to embed in my day, and it's something I'm probably going to make an entire video out of because it's just something that's very important. So I wake up on this day at about like 6:30. It usually depends, but I usually wake up between 6:30 and like 6:45. That's usually the time I try and wake up. At this time in the morning before I go to school, one thing I've started doing as well now is starting to read more. Like, I don't read full stop. I think the last time I read a book was like year 10, year 9. Back then I used to read all the time, and I'd read all sorts of fiction books, and they were great. Then I just stopped reading after lockdown, and it's just ever since it's been like that. And nowadays the only books I've been reading are like medicine related books, and even then I'm struggling to read them. I just can't be asked to sit down and read. And so I've been trying to dedicate at least like 10 minutes each day to just reading. I usually spend that time reading this book on influence. It's a really good book. I've seen a lot of YouTubers talk about it, and that's why I was like, okay, I might check it out. Have a read of this book. I've only read like 2 chapters of it, but it's really good because each chapter gives you a lesson, and that lesson you can instantly start incorporating into your life. Overall, I think it's helping me become a better person, which is ultimately what I'm trying to do, whether it's academically, physically, spiritually, just like all sorts of different aspects that I want to really improve. And so you're going to see that theme, as I've said, all throughout this video today. Okay, so I get the bus to school, and on this day, on Tuesday, I went by myself because my friend who usually takes the bus with me takes the bus on this day an hour later because they've got their first period at period 2, which is at like 9:30. And so I travel to school by myself, and usually when I travel to school by myself and come back, I like listening to podcasts nowadays because, once again, all like the self-improvement thing, I've really been trying to make sure that I get something out of every day, and it's really working. And genuinely, I've only done this for like a few days now, but I'm already seeing quite big improvements. And the podcast I listen to at the moment it's an Islamic podcast. It's to do with like very important people and their roles in Islam and like just things like that, and it's really interesting, and it gives me like a deeper insight on all sorts of different figures that existed that I didn't really know about before. The podcast is called First, if you want to check it out. Now at school today, I start off with some cheeky biology, which I did not film at all because I didn't even know I was going to do a day in the life at that time. It was like this competition between 2 teams that our teacher picked out, and we basically had to like describe a word without saying certain words on the board. It was really fun, really intense and competitive. We got like this close to winning, and then we lost by a question on hemoglobin. I like this time of the year because everything's very chill. I mean, exam season's around the corner, but it doesn't feel that stressful. It just like every lesson, it's just doing revision and not doing much else. Whereas in like January, February time, it was very intense. Year 12, like there was exams every week, and I was always revising, and every lesson I was getting bombarded with more content, and I didn't realize how bad that was until I've come to this time of the year. And just thinking back on year 12, like over the course of the year, especially in that like height, right now is very like calm. There's not much going on. I know the end of years are a completely different story, but I'm not that worried about them. I feel like as long as I do my revision, it should be fine. Now maths I do film, which was right after. At 9:30 we had some Krispy Kreme donuts, which was great. I am quite a sugar person, I love donuts, and we were meant to be doing some maths. It was just literally just revision. The entire lesson was just a revision lesson. I got like 2 questions done, I guess, but most of it was just me messing around, which is what I've been doing all my lessons currently. I hope my teachers aren't watching this because I don't do any work in lessons at the moment. I just go in just to enjoy the lessons. But if I do have like a genuine question that I want to ask, or like if I was doing an exam paper and I couldn't do a certain question, which has happened to me before, I'd literally go to a teacher and just ask them to walk me through it, and it helps a lot. But most of the time in lessons nowadays, I don't do any work because there's no content to be learned. So I usually spend the time outside of lessons actually doing work, and then in the lessons, I just chill and relax. Okay, so then I have break, and then after that I have double chemistry, which it was okay. I mean, it was just double revision. We were just doing practice questions, and at like the first period I actually did quite a bit of work in, but by the time it got to the second period I just got like drained and I didn't do much else. So I haven't done any of these questions yet, and it's been 50 minutes. Our teacher has left us. I don't know what's going on right now. Now after, I have a session called enrichment, which is basically like 21st century life or like PSHE, that kind of thing. I sometimes do something to do with like careers and that side of things, but other times it's to do with like life. Today we were doing gambling and it was so useless. We're 2 weeks before exams and they're talking about gambling to us. It's just a bit, I didn't see the purpose of it. But after that I was done. I didn't have a period 6, so I finished at about 2:30 and I came home. I can't lie, I did not want to do any work today because it was Tuesday, and on the day before, because there was no school, I got like a good 4 or 5 hours worth of work done, which is a lot for me at this time of the year. Like usually right now I'm doing like 2 hours, 3 hours, so getting like 4 or 5 hours of work was quite a bit for me. So I do about 30 minutes of practice questions, literally 30 minutes, and that's literally it. For the rest of the day I just relax. I just don't do any work.
I also need to do my flashcards, so I went outside at about like sunset time and I got some really cool shots, and I managed to do my flashcards outside whilst just having a nice little walk. But no, genuinely it was very relaxing. I only went in a t-shirt as well, so I was freezing cold, but it just made the whole experience even more fun.
And yeah, so that's my day. Oh yeah, I went gym as well. I've been trying to keep that up as well. That's another part of my like whole self-improvement journey, all of that stuff. I'm trying to like go to gym as regularly as possible. I used to go during the weekends only, so that'd only be like twice a week, but nowadays I try and go during the weekdays, and my ideal amount is about like 4 times a week if I can do that, and I'm really trying to keep it up each day, and so far it's going pretty well. So I go by myself today. I was only there for like 40 minutes, but I just like the feeling of going to gym, because then once I come home I feel accomplished and I feel like I've done a lot today, and that's how I felt even though I only did about 30 minutes of work. Okay, so I went on a bit of a tangent for Tuesday, so I'm gonna try and like push it back to where we were at the start. It's now Wednesday, pretty much the same thing. I wake up and pray. The reason I wake up and pray and go back to sleep nowadays is because of summertime, so the times for prayer is much earlier in the day, whereas before I could literally just wake up, pray, and then continue on with getting ready for school. Nowadays I have to wake up and pray and then go back to sleep. So I wake up, pray, go back to sleep, and then I get ready for school again. I eat breakfast and I read a few more pages on my book, and then I get to school again. Today I literally have 1 lesson plus a workshop, so I'll talk about the lesson first. It was chemistry and it was a lecture period. So basically what would happen is we'd either have like a lecture which would like mirror a university lecture, or we'd have like these sessions in different classrooms and you could just go to whichever one you would like to do more revision on. We were planning on going to the required practicals one, but then there were too many people in that one, so we had to go to group 7. Group 7's fine, it's not that bad, so I didn't really pay much attention. And then shortly after I went to this brain workshop. Like basically what it was, some guy talking about the brain and just neurology and just his field of work, and just talking about how like the brain is such a vital organ, and he mentioned some really interesting stuff, and like the fact that once you die your brain is still like active for like 10 minutes or so, which was like insane. I didn't know that, and like they talked about how this could like relate to those flashbacks right before you die. And then he dissected a sheep's brain and we got to like touch it and feel it and stuff. It was all like mostly outside of the specification. A lot of the stuff that we'd learned in that was it for Wednesday. There was literally nothing else on that day. As you might know from my other week in the life, I talked about how like on Wednesday I literally only have 1 lesson, so even if I had multiple lessons on this day I would have missed them because of this brain activity workshop thing, whatever you call it. Okay, so it's Wednesday afternoon. I just came back from school and I am planning on getting some work done. On Wednesdays I come home early, so it's about like 2:30ish right now. I came home like an hour earlier and haven't done anything so far, and I'm planning on not doing much until like 4 o'clock ish, and I want to get like 4 hours of revision done, hopefully 3-4 hours. That's what my aim is. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing a biology paper. I might do that actually. I'm gonna go gym as well. Yeah, going back to the video. Okay, so Thursday was an interesting day because I woke up at like 10 o'clock after praying, of course, in the morning. My first lesson started at 11:30, so I still didn't have to worry, and that first lesson was biology, and all we were doing was these like revision sheets. It was like blurting basically. It didn't have the information that we needed, so we had to like fill in the blanks basically, and that was like the entire lesson, so it wasn't that bad. And then we have form time, and
Form time is literally just a time to mess around for us. I don't do anything in form time because there's nothing to do in form time. I usually like play games or just talk. It's just fun, to be honest. It's only like 20 minutes of just doing nothing. And then I had lunch. I got Prime from Sainsbury's for the first time, which was interesting because you can never find these drinks anywhere, and it is such a mid drink. It's actually like, it's not even good. I had the ice pop one. This isn't good.
Don't buy
Yeah,
it.
it's actually not good.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
And I was expecting it to be really good, and nah, if you haven't had Prime, don't worry, you're not missing out. And lastly, I have double maths, and this time I actually did quite a bit of work compared to usual. I normally don't do any sort of work during these lessons because it's maths and all we're doing right now is a revision. So the teacher just literally sets us a few questions and we just do whatever we want ourselves. It's all up to us. I spent most of my lesson filming me working rather than actually working, which was a bit weird, and I was also trying to come up with some really weird transitions, so you might see them right now. I don't know what I'm doing. Also, today was the last day for year 13s, so school was kind of like upside down because the year 13s were wreaking havoc everywhere. And then I come home, and today I was so tired that I got literally no revision done at all. I was gonna do a bit, but then I was just like, I didn't want to do anything. I finished off that past paper that I started the day before because I hadn't finished it, and apart from that I literally didn't do any work on this day. And I realized that this week I haven't done that much work in total in terms of academic work, so I'm probably going to start doing more work in the next week and the week following because I've got my exams. I need to actually prepare for them. Now lastly, we have Friday. Friday was a mufti day, and we start off with a cancelled lesson, which means that once again my first lesson's at 11:30, so I get to oversleep once again, so that's great. So my first lesson I have is maths, and once again it's revision. As you can tell, I'm revising. I did quite a few questions actually, but nowhere near as much as I would have during like the start of the year. It's oh wait, what day is it today? It's Friday. It's form time, and nothing's going on at the moment. Our teacher hasn't even arrived yet, but I normally play games during this time, but my iPad's on like 20% charge, so yeah. You can kind of see a pattern now. It's that time of the year. I'm not going to do any work. And then after lunch I have chemistry, and I love this chemistry period so much. I'm currently in chemistry and I don't know what I'm doing at all.
I got you.
So this is the worksheet we have. I don't know if you can hear me because I didn't bring my microphone in, but I don't understand what's going on. It's organic, so I'm just going to ignore it. Like, oh, I have this really sick... Is this nuclear physics?
For pointing me out, I'm going to give you negative. I don't think so you can make...
I'm not actually doing the work.
He was like, oh, wait, what the hell?
It's such a good chemistry lesson because I've got all my friends and I don't do any work. That's going to be like a time lapse. Okay. Wait, I'm meant to be the one doing the question.
Sorry, Nouman, I'm doing it for you.
Okay. Then I don't do anything. And literally for the rest of the lesson, I was doing work 100%. I don't think I did more than one question. I literally did one question, that was it. And then I packed up after a really good day of solid work and revision to come home and do like a few practice questions, and that was it. Also, I don't go gym today, which is disappointing. I am kind of lacking, but don't worry, from next week I'm going to put all those habits back into the grind again, and I'm also going to up the amount of work I do academically as well. So let's see if that goes well. As you can tell, I am kind of lowering my voice at the moment because it's like midnight at the moment. I know that a lot of you guys have your GCSEs and A-levels tomorrow, so best of luck for those. Genuinely, it's insane how fast they've come again, and I have nothing else to say, so best of luck, and I'll see you again next time. Make sure you comment if you have any questions, and yeah, subscribe if you haven't already.